What's going on, everybody? Today is Monwan Monday. It is Monday, October 21st, 2024, and we are back once again to talk about another episode of Survivor. The tips... Oh, no, the scales be tipping. Sorry. Already messed that up. Already messed it up. Already off to a rough start. Let's go.
We should stream from the same house one time.
All right. I'm John Dunphy. I swear to God, that kazoo is killing me right now. My name is John Dunphy.
Oh my God, Mikey.
I am joined, as always, by my fellow tribe mates, Mr. Kyle Petty-Basal, Miss Gina Morgino, and Mr. Mikey Marmon. All right, you gotta stop. You gotta stop. I swear. We are Strat Chat. Yeah, we're Strat Chat, your favorite reality TV podcast. Find us on the socials at Strat Chat Pod. All right, Mikey, I swear to God, I will remove you from that if that kazoo makes another
I'm not going to be
appearance.
invited back next week. Oh, no.
We're here to talk about Survivor. So let's get into it. There were some interesting things, I think, that happened in this episode. Before we get to the reward challenge, we did have a brief moment with Lavo at their camp coming back from the Kishan vote, which I thought this was funny because, like, immediately after the vote, right, I'm thinking to myself, like, oh, Teenie is, she's at the bottom. They're at the bottom. They're going to be feeling really, really down. And somehow it was still Rome, like, complaining about everything. And, like, of all people to be annoyed at, like, Teenie went on a journey, like, was away from camp while people were talking and stuff like that, came back without a vote, had really no power going into this tribal, and yet Rome seemed to be pissed at Teenie more than anyone else because Rome found out from Genevieve about a potential plan to vote Rome out at the tribal council that night.
It's like, Rome kept going back at them like, oh, did you know? Did you know about the plan? And they were like, yeah, but I couldn't do anything about it.
Right.
What are you mad at me for? Like, I couldn't participate. There was nothing I could have done.
But also, like, at the end of the day, the plan didn't happen.
Right.
So,
right. And, like, Teenie didn't come up on the plan. Come up with the plan. Teenie had no control over, like, the actual vote itself. Like, why don't you talk to the people that actually came up with the plan?
Yeah.
Like, why don't you get mad at them? Why are you putting this all on Teenie?
Like, you won. You got it. The person who came up with the plan is gone. They're out.
Yeah. And it just really bothered me too that Rome, like, I feel like he's played such a nasty game in a lot of ways, and I felt like it really bothered me when he was saying about Teenie, like, yeah, I want them to feel like they're on the bottom. I want them to feel like they're on the outs, and it's just like they weren't even here for most of the scrambling. They were on a journey. Like,
I feel like he's just never gonna let go of that whole, like, idol box situation. Like, that's just gonna be like the through line for the rest of the season is like, and now Teenie's probably gonna be number one. Yeah.
It could be.
I slightly dissent. I don't like how Rome speaks to most people. So, like, I don't like how he was cheering on, like, oh, I want them to feel like they're on the bottom. I didn't enjoy that. But there is still a part of me that, and this is not fully in defense of Rome because I don't like him. Like, I don't like how he's been playing. I don't know him. I don't like how he's been playing the game. But it was Teenie that blabbed about the whole idol thing, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. So there's trust broken once. And then Rome's point of view is Genevieve came to me and said that the plan was me. You didn't. So even if you weren't the person that was, like, leading the charge on it, I still don't know that I want to necessarily, like, play with you. Like, you told people about their idol and you didn't, and I was the plan and you didn't let me know. I don't think I'd be too jazzed about that. So I don't know that he needs to be so intense about stuff, but, like, I think I might be annoyed. You had one person who did come and one person who didn't.
It's hard though, because he just, like, he feels so unaware of the way he comes off towards people. And it's like, I don't think you can act the way you're acting and play the way you're playing and then get mad when people don't want to be your friend. You know what I mean? Like, he seems to have, there's a huge, like, if someone spoke to me the way that he had been speaking to Soul, and then later came up to me and was like, "Why are we not on the same team? Like, what's going on?" Like,
Yeah.
I would be like, go jump in the water near a rock and hit your head because I don't want to be anywhere near. I don't know. I just
Mm.
if
Yeah.
I don't think that he has any right the way he's been speaking to people and the way he's been playing to be upset. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
why do you think people don't want to talk to you? Maybe you should do some inner work here and figure it out. And then,
Oh no, there's good reason for people to not want to work with him, and I think that's all like justifiable. But then,
hmm,
like, to say that it doesn't make sense why he'd be annoyed, like, I mean,
I get, I it makes sense that he's annoyed, but I think that if he were aware of the game he was playing, he he shouldn't be.
right, it's something you could almost expect.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
And I guess if I think about it, right, because the people that came up with the plan mostly were Kishan and Genevieve, right? Was Soul that involved? I forget exactly like how much he was involved in it.
I believe he was told the plan and was excited about the plan and was going to go forward with the plan. But
And
I don't
that
think
was
he was
about it, right?
involved in making the plan. Yeah,
All
I don't
right.
think he really found himself in a position to be making any plans. Really.
Right. Because there's a part of me that feels like, I guess like we were saying before, like I don't understand why Rome would be taking all of this out on Teeny. But then when I think about it and like think about Kyle's point too, like it does honestly make sense in a way. Like Rome is of course going to come back. He found out that his name was out there. He's going to throw a temper tantrum, right? But at the same time, he's not going to take it out on Genevieve because she is the only one that told him, like Kyle said. Kishan is gone. He got voted out, and Soul voted with him. So where's the only place for Rome to put his like anger
Yeah.
and frustration? It's on
Yeah.
Teeny, which I don't think is fair because they weren't even there when the plan
Yeah.
was made. But at the same time, I guess it makes sense that if Rome's going to take out any frustrations on anybody, it's going to be Teeny. So
Yeah.
yeah. If you were there long enough to hear the plan, you were there long enough to spill the plan. And this was somebody that I actually wanted to work with. And I came back from this journey. I get off the boat and we say, "Oh, we're voting out Mikey." I'm like, and I'll go run right over there and go tell
Yeah.
Mikey. But I mean, it's all warranted. I mean, Teeny should not want to play with him. But
No.
yeah.
yeah,
But all right, so this took us pretty much right into our reward challenge, which was interesting. This brought up a new twist that I'm interested to hear what you guys think about this. So Jeff told us. So obviously the tribes entered only saw 2 tracks, for this challenge. So not enough room for 3 tribes. What's going on here? Some people were talking about maybe could we be merging into 2 tribes instead of 3? But really, this was just a new twist called the Survivor Social Hour, where all 3 tribes would be divvied up into 2 teams. And then would have to compete 7-on-7 for the chance to go to the sanctuary where they would be able to have hot dogs and play cornhole and just kind of talk and strategize. So we got split up here into 2 teams, blue and yellow. What do you guys think about this twist, though?
I've been saying I want a tribe swap. That's all I've been saying. This feels like the closest we're gonna get to that. So I'm gonna take it and I'm gonna be happy about it because I think it's really interesting to see at this point in the game what happens when you're not quite in a situation where you're in a fully merged tribe, but like you have to sort of navigate the still being loyal to your own tribe, but also trying to make those relationships with a different tribe. I this is about the closest we're gonna get to that tribe swap situation, and so I enjoyed it. I thought it was a cool,
To
fun
that
thing.
point, I like it too because it's like I feel like the only time that we really get anything remotely close to that is when they do those stupid journeys, and I hate the journeys. I never enjoy the journeys. So to see a situation where you can get that dynamic of like making connections in other tribes, talking to other people, kind of like pre-gaming the merge while you still have to stay with your own tribe in a bigger group situation like this, I do prefer it a lot.
Hmm.
Yeah.
yeah. Ditto to all. I like the Survivor Social Hour. This is fun, and I
Mhm.
like that it's random. I
Mhm.
wouldn't want
Yeah.
people picking their sides. Like that would
Mhm.
annoy me. I like that you just get what you get. You don't get upset.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I loved the fact that both teams had at least one person from every tribe, and just you know, the breakdown of it too. I mean, it couldn't have been more perfect. Like we were just talking about everything with Teeny at Lavo, and then somehow Teeny ends up being the only member from Lavo on the winning team. So now they get to go to the sanctuary and talk, and meanwhile Rome is freaking out back at camp. Um,
That was the thing too. Like, we get back to camp and Rome is like, ugh, I can't believe I lost this reward. All I want is, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, yes, Rome, famously, you're the only person that lost this challenge and is in this position. It's only happening to you.
right, right. Um, oh man, but any interesting conversations that stood out to you guys at the sanctuary? Obviously, we had the Tiana throwing Gabe under the bus, which Sue did not like. But any that conversation or any other conversations that stood out to you guys that you might have an impact in the future?
Caroline, she needs to be quiet.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, silly girl, silly girl. Why won't you keep your mouth shut? Like, I couldn't understand why she was saying so many things. Oh, this person is my number one. Oh, we get along so great. Oh, this is good. This is good. It's like this. If you all make it to merge, you have now painted yourselves as a target because, like,
Yeah,
you
and even
act
like
like you're
blatantly,
working
she was
together.
like, if anybody's working with me, they're automatically working with Sue, and it's like, I
It's
don't
like,
know that you should be speaking that boldly to a stranger.
right, like
Yeah.
stop it. You don't. She's like, oh, I get a really good vibe from her. I'm like, you don't know this woman. Stop telling Rachel all of your business. Like, you don't know these people. I think Teeny was the other person that was
Yeah.
with her, and it's
Yeah.
like, why are you don't know these people? Oh, I've got a great relationship with Teeny. Based on what?
Yeah.
The couple of moments that you guys were there for that journey. Oh no. This is not good. This is not good, Caroline. And she's like, I feel great about this. This was amazing. And it's like, was it? It's like,
Yeah.
I don't know. And I feel like we got so much of that because that's going to like rear its ugly head later.
Mm.
Like, I hope. Anyway, I hope. I want to see that backfire.
Yeah. Well, as the person that has Caroline on their draft team too, I do feel like I'm glad that at least that was more of like a private conversation as opposed to like
Yes.
Tiana just out in the open with everybody.
Yeah.
'Cause it did seem from confessionals like that trio, right? Teeny, Caroline, and Rachel. It seemed like they were all on the same page pretty much based on confessionals. But I do agree that like if we're getting close to merge, which based on the next on, it looks like we could be pretty much there. Like you got to be careful what you're saying in front of all these people. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, the Tiana thing makes me a little nervous because I don't know. I don't know that she has enough going on in her own tribe to justify throwing someone under the bus the way she did. Now, obviously, like from the little we've seen from their tribe, because I feel like we haven't gotten a lot from them in general. Tiana and Gabe haven't really been getting along, I don't think. So like, I kind of get like wanting to stretch those like throw some stuff at the wall and see what sticks, but it just felt like too big a group of people to be doing that with, and too big a misstep. If she was alone, if it was like if she was in Teeny's situation where it was just her, whatever. But like with other people on her tribe there, I don't know. I have a feeling this might come back to bite her in a way that I'm not going to be too happy about, considering she was my first round pick.
yeah, and they had what I think Tuku. They had what 4 people at the reward, right? It was Tiana, Caroline, Sue, and Kyle, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like that's almost your whole tribe,
yeah,
and
that's
like
bold.
right in front of all your tribe members without discussing anything with them. You're pretty much just like putting all your business out there. And I feel
Mhm.
like you said, it's very different for a teeny who's the only member of their tribe that's there, and can pretty much say whatever they want.
Yeah.
Like Tiana, like you're throwing a lot of stuff out there, and like, how do you know that some of your tribe mates are not okay with this? Like, but I don't know. So I feel like that whole sanctuary moment might have been worse for Tiana than anyone else, I think.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see how it shakes out when merge comes around, but I am nervous
Yeah.
that could be true.
I would agree with that.
Um,
Sorry, girl.
and I like Tiana, but so we left our social hour and people started returning back to their camps. But first we had Lavo. So we talked a little bit about Rome kind of going crazy, right, and complaining about being hungry. But we also saw some interesting conversations because he lied to both Soul and Genevieve. Right? He went up to Soul, was telling him a whole story about how Genevieve has no interest. Well, I guess it's not. He didn't technically lie to Soul, right? Because Genevieve doesn't. I don't think she actually does want to work with Soul long term. Not that that's information she'd want out there.
Mm.
But then Rome also went to Genevieve and said that Soul was pushing hard to get Teeny out, which was definitely a lie. And obviously Genevieve and Soul link up and kind of compare stories. So like, any thoughts on the dynamics of the Lavo tribe and where Rome stands? Because obviously he still thinks he's on top, but I think he's in big trouble.
Rome is a really great choice to get right out first one in the merge. Get him out of there. I feel like that they're all just gonna, if he's not immune, that's the that who else do you even go for? That feels like a tribe unifying vote.
Mhm.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I don't disagree. And I feel like if you don't do it then, I think that people will always keep him around as a shield and then he
Yeah.
won't actually go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, I would love to see him go.
Get
Yeah,
him
it's-
out
yeah.
of there. Get him
I
out.
Oh
don't know.
man.
Sick and tired.
But yeah, so each tribe member that was at the sanctuary returning back to their camps, they each decided to kind of have their own little spin when they got back to their camps and what they would tell the people that were waiting there. Teeny kind of tweaked things, but I was very glad that Genevieve and Soul pretty much told them that, like, listen, Rome's been going crazy. He went nuts while you
Yeah.
were gone. Like, it feels like things are going good there. Like I said, but who knows what'll happen now? Because if we had one more episode with the separate tribes and Lavo lost, I would feel pretty confident that Rome would be going. But
Yeah.
knowing in the next on that it looks like everybody's dropping their buffs, like Kyle was saying, it might just become the type of thing where Rome becomes a shield for everybody and never ends up leaving. So it could be very good timing for Rome.
God, I
Sam,
hope not.
yeah, Sam and Rachel went back, and it was funny to me because Sam obviously was trying to throw people off in the other tribes about him and Sierra being so tight and being sort of at the top of their tribe. So he left that part out, but Rachel was there for that at camp, and like we didn't see her mention that
yeah.
at all, right?
No, but I also think because she thinks she's in a, well, she is technically in an alliance with Sierra. So I don't think like anything that makes Sierra look bad is also going to make her look bad. So I feel like it's like one of those situations where it's just like don't poke that bear in a way.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
feels like almost with Annika gone now too, that it's like she needs to her best. It's in her best interest to keep Tribe strong right now because
Yeah.
then she has that alliance of four, yeah, four. Whereas starts if she starts like going crazy here and like trying to like go all rogue on the merge, she's gonna be fumbling to find the new alliance. So I feel like it makes more sense for her to just sort of like roll with that at this point.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, and then I mean we basically had back at Tuku Tribe, Caroline telling Tiana like, "Listen, I'm worried that Gabe is going to find out that you were throwing him under the bus. Like, you should just go and tell him, tell him what happened." But Tiana is another one I think like Rome that's going to really benefit from possibly going to merge in the next episode, or at least that mergatory phase, because I feel like Tiana can kind of fly under the radar for a little bit for a week, and now you've got a much bigger pool of players to kind of like hide in.
Yeah.
But that's what makes this very interesting too. This season, I think, is definitely better constructed than recent seasons that we've seen.
Agreed. Yeah.
Because I feel like each tribe's got somebody, at least somebody. Because I feel like you could kind of like choose Rachel from Gata now that she's lost Annika. And then Tiana in Tuku, who kind of made a misstep at the sanctuary, and then like Rome with Lavo. Each one of them, I feel like we're kind of on the outs and might now benefit from the fact that we're going to go into a larger group potentially next week.
Mhm.
So really interesting, I think, for each tribe going into this next phase.
Yeah.
At the immunity challenge, we had a negotiation.
Oh my god, that's right.
Yeah, and honestly, this is why I love this game, Survivor, because like Gata comes in, we find out that these hens that they have only have laid 3 eggs, 2 of them cracked before they even got to cook them. So they want to make a trade, get some eggs, and give back the chickens. They do come to an agreement that they'll give the chickens back if Jeff gives them 18 eggs, so they agree to that. And then, of course, at the end of this challenge, Gata loses, so they lose their flint and now can't make fire to even cook the eggs.
I didn't even clock
Like,
that.
isn't this
Ooh.
game awesome?
Oh
Like, isn't it
Right.
great?
That is rough. That is a
I didn't
rough turn
clock
of events.
that.
Yeah, and
It's like, and like, how long did just like unrefrigerated eggs survive on an island in Fiji? Like,
Right.
tough break.
right?
Should have kept the chickens, I guess.
But I will say, like, I can't blame. Like, could you listen? I don't know if I could play Survivor. Just,
Oh, I could never play
just
Survivor.
in general. Yeah, I don't know if I could hack it out there on the
No.
island if I played at all. But I feel like I definitely wouldn't be able to kill a chicken and then prepare it and cook it and eat it.
I don't
So-
know.
No.
I feel like the killing of the chicken, I would maybe, but once it's dead, it's like, all right, let's figure it out.
But I
I'm
mean,
not sure.
do you know I don't even know like everything that goes into preparing a chicken, even
You
after
got
you've
legs, you
killed it.
got legs, you got breasts.
Yeah, I know you got.
thighs.
Yeah, we know-
Mike,
we
it's
know
not
the
like
part.
going to
Body
the store
parts.
and buying a
Well, you
package
gotta-
of chicken. Like
You
it's,
gotta
it's
pluck the feathers out and then
All right.
like just skin it and then meat.
oh, is that all?
How
Would
hard
you-
could it possibly be?
Do you feel confident that you could skin a chicken?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, all right.
Rip it off.
I was
Rip
laughing.
it off.
I thought this situation was going to end very differently because like before that we see them being like, I feel like we just need to like give the chickens like free range, like they're not eating when they're. And I was like, you're not going to kill the chickens, but you will just let them go. It's
Well,
like
you know
the
what
chickens
they
are meant
should
to
be
leave
doing?
and never be seen again.
What they should be doing is on it's whatever the fuck season it is. It's Ty. He was like this this lovely older Asian man. He like got string and tied each of the chickens like basically on a leash to one of their legs, and then like gave them a decent amount of free roam so they could roam
Sure.
about, which makes them like free range chickens, I guess technically. And
Hmm.
then like they're laying eggs, and they kept them. I think literally they kept them the entire season after that, and
but
they continued to
Not
lay
what
eggs and stuff.
we were doing.
Yeah, I don't know. It's crazy to me that like that wasn't even a thought. Like we weren't
Yeah.
even like, oh, let's find some string. Like, where's the string?
Yeah, there
Tie the
was
chickens up.
definitely part of me that was a little surprised that they were actually bringing all 3 to the negotiation.
I was like, you still have all 3?
right, like they didn't run off.
What do they eat? Do they give them like feed or some grain?
I mean, it looked like they were just shoving leaves in there. It was
I feel
like,
like
I
they-
don't think that's what they want.
Well, because I think chickens like technically are like native to that like part of the world. Like they like just like live. It's like pigs. Pigs and chickens, I think both like just like live in beaches and stuff. So they can probably just eat whatever's on the ground.
Yeah.
Like what though? Like bugs?
But I feel like that's why they
Bugs,
weren't eating.
leaves,
Because they were
yeah,
just like
worms.
shoving leaves in there and they were like,
Eat,
these
like
chickens aren't eating.
tree droppings.
Tree droppings.
Yeah, just like the various sticks and things that fall off of trees.
To word it as tree droppings.
Are they things that drop from trees, Gina?
I mean, well, generally when one says droppings, you're thinking of excrement.
Yeah, but we're talking trees here. We're talking tree droppings. It's different.
Excrement.
Well, that was part of the confusion, right?
Well, listen. I
Tree
also,
droppings.
to be honest, I'm not an expert on chickens, so I do not know what they eat. But I am talking very confidently right now, as if I do.
I know,
As you
I
often do.
Listen,
What's up, Liz?
Liz, don't encourage him.
Leaves are tree droppings.
Leaves
now.
how else would you describe them?
Leaves, babe.
If you didn't know the word for leaf, and it was the fall time, and something was on the ground, and you'd be like, "Oh, that's from the tree. That's like the tree dropped that. That's a tree dropping."
I don't know that I would, but
I don't
love
know
your
that.
name.
Yeah, I don't think my first thought would be droppings.
That's because you know the word leaf, and I bet if you didn't, you would think tree dropping. So you know what?
Tree droppings. All right.
Tree droppings.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yes.
This immunity challenge was pretty fun, I thought. So basically, we had another course here where each tribe had to carry a lot of weight. I mean, there was a lot of sandbags and coconuts in each of these bags by the end.
Over the speed bumps.
Yeah, and it started out that they actually had to like saw through this rope to drop a whole bunch of coconuts and stuff. Andy really struggled here to the point where he wasn't even using the sharp side of the blade to saw through the rope at one point. And he made some other mistakes throughout this, and it just kind of brought me back because I have to be honest, I'm still pretty salty that Gata decided to vote out my boy John Lovett instead of Andy during that first tribal council, because the big reason that they decided to keep Andy over John was based on strength for the challenges. And you have Andy not even using the right side of a blade to cut through a rope, messing up all over the place with other things.
Boy.
And it's like he is becoming the liability in these challenges, and the whole reason you kept him was to win challenges. So that's all.
I still don't understand how they decided that like he was going to be kept as an asset in the challenges when literally the challenge that day he passed out and couldn't do it. Like I still don't know where they got that from.
Yeah.
We got to talk about the air humping too, right? That's
okay. Yeah, what was the technique?
What was
here?
going on there? Why
Like,
was he putting all the pressure into his hips?
Yeah, like
use
you're
your
supposed
arms,
to be
buddy.
using this saw to cut a
At
rope.
the very least, use your legs, not your hips.
Like, why are you thrusting so much?
That
like,
was crazy. And like, I'm no athlete by any stretch of the imagination, but my God, what the hell was going on there?
I don't know. It was very weird. It was really weird. A lot of thrusting from Andy.
I enjoy Andy's thrusting.
You said you enjoy?
Yeah. I like Andy. He could get it.
Love.
But yeah, so we had to saw through a rope. They had to drag this bag that already had coconuts and sandbags in it. And there were some obstacles along the way where they had to continue to fill the bags to make them even heavier. But at the end of it, they'd have to get to a puzzle that they would have to throw sandbags at to knock it down completely. And once they did that, they would have to rebuild it. Tuku ran away with this thing. They were incredible in this challenge. So they won immunity. There was a point where Lavo had a pretty big lead over Gata, but that evaporated. Gata was right there neck and neck. I think it just came down. I think both tribes ended up actually having the puzzle done. It was just a matter of which tribe could get back to their mat fastest. And Lavo did do that, which meant that Gata would lose and would be going to tribal council, which is why they lost their flint. We didn't really get that much of a scramble after this challenge. It felt like we went back to camp. There was a little bit of debate between Sierra and Sam about who to vote out at tribal, because I think that Sierra has been in the middle with Andy and Sam, but also with the breadwinners. And so there was a little bit of a debate. Do we vote out Sierra? Do we vote out Andy, or do we vote out Annika? Because each person saw a difference in how their game could be, benefited. It would have been better for Sierra to keep Annika, would have been better for Sam to get rid of Andy. At the end of the day, Annika ended up going. Sierra voted against the breadwinners, sending Annika home. It sucked. I mean, I guess I get why Sierra did it. I mean, she didn't have the votes anyway, though, because Annika didn't have her vote. All the best that Sierra could have done if she didn't go with Sam and Andy is it would have ended up a tie vote.
Yeah.
But I guess when you think about it, right? So at that point, if it was a tied vote, 2-2 on Andy and Annika, they would have done a revote, right?
Yes.
Andy and Annika wouldn't have voted. So that would have taken their votes out. And then it could have been Sierra and Rachel voting out Andy with Sam voting out Annika. I guess they didn't want to go through all that, though. But that's personally the way I was hoping it would go.
I also do think, like, for Sierra, like at the end of the day, Annika is much more of a game player than Andy is, and I think moving forward, will generally be a more reliable number than Annika would, because I think Annika is always going to be trying to do her own thing, whereas like Andy is only working within the confines of what he is able to do, which is not much. Although I will say he had some I can't even remember what it was now, but like oh my god, when he went to Annika and who is it, fucking Rachel, with like the false plan or whatever. Like I thought he played that very, very well, like impressively well considering what we've seen from him so far. So maybe
Yeah,
this is a moot
yeah,
point, but I do think that like Annika would be the more of a threat than Andy is in the future, long term.
yeah, I agree with that. And I will say, I did actually have a moment where I was like, oh, all right, Andy, because like we were getting a confessional as these conversations with Rachel and Annika were going on,
Mm.
and like we were jumping back and forth between Andy actually talking to them, being like, I'm really nervous. I feel like I'm at the bottom. I think I'm in danger, and then like jumping to a confessional where he was like, I know what my role is here.
Yeah.
Like I was like, you know what? He is very convincing.
Yeah.
He actually is pretty good at this. Yeah.
He also like very accurately predicted exactly what they were going to say, which was crazy. Like he had like I don't know, maybe this was just like a moment of dumb luck from him, like with that confessional. But it was a good move on his part. Like he played this whole situation very well.
Yeah.
I think Andy's going to get a little bit more interesting as time goes on, because I think that his major issue was that emotional outburst that he had in the beginning. That doesn't necessarily mean that he wouldn't play the game well, because it does seem that he does understand the mechanics of it. He can just leave his emotions out. So it'll be kind of interesting to see as he goes on, because their tribe has certainly played more Survivor, in my opinion, than like Tuku.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you go to merge, it's kind of like a reset, and you can take what you've learned prior. And
I think Sierra, Sam, and Andy have the potential to be a pretty lethal trio moving
Mhm.
forward.
yeah, they're going to be really interesting.
Even like as far as Andy goes, it's like, yeah, he's messy. Like I feel like people are just distracted by the fact that he's messy, so they don't consider him a liability. But like being messy doesn't mean that you automatically don't understand the mechanics of the game. And like to Kyle's point, like as somebody who has just been to more tribals and seen more game and like understood a little bit more of like how that dynamic works, he could be pretty dangerous going into
Yeah.
merge.
I mean, look at Carolyn from whatever
Yeah.
season that is. Carolyn literally got to the end by knowing what was going on and playing up the fact that she was a little weird.
Mm-hmm.
She played that weird factor up so well, it almost won her the game.
Mm-hmm.
Probably should have, still, but you know. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, I don't know. I'm not counting Andy out quite yet, but I do think from Sierra's point of view that Annika would have been more of a threat than Andy. Still, I stand by that.
Sure.
Yeah. And I want to give some credit to Sierra, because generally when people blindside the people that they're in an alleged alliance with, they look ashamed. They kind of do this and they're looking down. Sierra's just like,
And Annika was big mad too.
Oh my gosh, he was so
Sierra's
mad.
like, I did it.
She's like, and what?
Yes, and I was like, good for
Oh
you.
man,
Good for you.
God,
Yeah.
I just, whew, that reaction was crazy. I can't imagine if I was on that tribe and she was acting like that, I would be like,
And even if I wasn't the one that
I
did it, I'd
think
be
I
like, I'm
would
sorry.
I like low key think I would start giggling a little bit. I don't know. Maybe you're in a different mindset when you're out there, but I think I'm just enough. I'd be like I'd have to be like covering my
Mhm.
shocked face, but like really I'm laughing my ass off underneath because that's fucking funny.
Yeah.
That is it is funny to react like that.
It's like, ugh, ugh.
Oh man.
That was so good.
Honestly, I love Sierra. I might be adding her name to mine soon. I
Wow.
might be. We'll see.
Oh,
We'll see.
okay.
But I also, just to go back to Annika's reaction to being voted out, it made me want to watch her play Big Brother. Because I could see her in the house, like getting nominated or something. Like the way she turned around and questioned them, like, "Who owns this? Like, whose move was this?" Like, I could
And
just
what difference does
imagine,
it make?
right? Like, I could just imagine a house meeting where Annika is like gathering everyone together and like doing the same sort of
He's like,
thing, and like
"Who
I would
snitched?"
love it.
Yes.
I would love it.
Who wrote the note?
Listen, you just might get that. They love to share. They love to share players.
I would love it. Oh man.
Yeah.
Who wrote the
Hasn't
note?
been in some time though, sadly. It needs to happen more.
Yeah.
Hey, we just got Suri.
Yes, but like before that, I mean,
Well,
Have there haven't
that's
been any
maybe.
like new era players that did Big Brother?
no.
No.
Interesting.
We
Years ago, we had some people from the
got
Amazing
Amazing
Race.
Race, right? Jackie and I forget
Yeah,
the other person.
which
yeah.
is who cares? I mean, I like the Amazing Race and everything, but like it's not the same kind of
It's a
game.
very different, yeah.
Yeah.
dynamic.
Yes, it was exciting, but
I wonder if it's that they're not asking people, or that they're asking people and they're saying no.
I don't know.
and why would they say no?
I don't know.
Oh,
I
I thought you were coming over here to be like a Survivor elitist.
no,
I mean,
I just mean like maybe they're like reaching out to people that they want to see play the game, and they're like, nah, I'm good.
Well,
I don't know,
Angela wants to play Survivor.
I feel like Big Brother is also just like we haven't even had like returning players from other Big Brother seasons in a while. Like I feel like they're just trying to like not
Build a new
cut the
roster.
dip right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Well, Cerise said that Big Brother is harder, so
That's
Really?
true. That's true. Yeah.
and she said that. It's
Well, when
bad.
you think about it, it's
Interesting.
like I get it. Like Survivor, you're hungry, you're outside, facing the elements. But it is a much faster game. If you're there till the end, you're there for 20-something days. Big
It wasn't
Brother
on
is-
Not when
Suri came
Suri
out.
was on though. Suri was doing a full month.
but even with Suri, okay, a month. We're talking Big Brother. You're talking 3 months.
Yeah.
I
Also, like I
stuck in
will
a
say,
confined space, very limited outdoor time.
You
You'll
have
go
that-
weeks where they have the backyard closed and you're stuck in the house the whole week.
that 24-hour
Can't go outside, can't go
was
anywhere.
crazy,
Or
too.
you're stuck in the backyard.
Yeah, or you're stuck in the backyard, can't even
Yeah.
go indoors for a week, peeing in a porta potty all week with
Yeah.
however many people.
What did you say right before that, though, Mikey? There was something.
I mean, you have that 24-hour feed situation too, where it's like
Oh.
technically with Survivor you are playing 24/7, but like there's seems to be quite a bit of time where you're able to like sort of shut off a little bit and like either like have the moments on the beach when like things aren't really happening, or at night like
Yeah,
no one's sitting there watching you at night sleep on.
Right, and I think that's important to mention also because it does kind of play on like how much weight is kind of placed on your mind and on your shoulders with that.
Yeah.
Because like in Big Brother, you have to be careful every single minute that not just are you not messing up game wise because the game doesn't stop, but also that you're not saying something offensive to people that are watching. You're
Yeah.
not sharing things about your life that you don't want other people to know. You can trust production to a certain extent to not put your personal stuff in to an hour, hour and a half long show. But these people with the feeds and the way that they clip them immediately,
Yeah.
I mean,
Mm.
it's got to be really taxing mentally because like
Oh yeah, for sure.
even me going into there, I already know what parts of my life I would not share. But you would be very, very like tempted to do so because what else are you going to do other than talk about yourself?
I
Right.
also feel too like
Just
in
share
a situation like Survivor, like by the time it airs, you are so far removed from what you had done that like you get to make peace with the decisions you made and the gameplay you made and
Right.
whatever. In Big Brother, it's all happening in real time. So you get out of the house and people are like, "Why would you do that 30 seconds after you just did it?" And it's like
Yeah,
now
why
I
did
have
you
to
do
worry
that
about my
4 weeks
perception.
ago?
Like, yeah.
They're like, what? I don't even know what I did 4 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What? Yeah.
Right. I mean, Big Brother is the only show that I can be watching like something on the feeds, like something crazy that happens, and then go to Twitter, and
It's
like
already there.
like literally like 10 seconds later, someone has somehow they've already clipped it and posted it on Twitter 10 seconds after it happened live, and I'm like, how is this here already?
They clipped it, they posted it, they remixed it with music.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden it's a
It's
thing.
been memed. It's been
Yeah.
yeah.
But see, that's what's funny too, is that like as much as we're talking about Big Brother potentially being harder right now, like Survivor is definitely incredibly hard. And even I said earlier, I was like, I've actually like sent in applications to be on Big Brother. I don't think I could make it a single day on the beach for Survivor. So I mean, very different in their own ways, both very difficult.
Well, because we don't know how some of those things that we even mentioned, like how mentally taxing Big Brother can be unless you're there. I know how taxing being out in the
Sure.
sun will be. I know that sand in my butt crack is not going to be a fun time. Bugs crawling all over me is not going to be a fun time. I'm very aware of what challenges I'll be faced with, and I know that
Yeah.
I'm not properly equipped to
Right,
handle.
right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, there's no guessing.
Well, yeah, and like even the fact, like in this episode, I forget who it was now, but after the immunity challenge, they like the tribe was going into the water to like clean up, and somebody made a comment like, "Oh, it doesn't matter how much I scrub this shirt, it's still so nasty." And I'm like, I don't know if I could do that for
Mm-mm-mm.
20 something days,
No, no.
but
I still think I got it in me, man. I think I got it in me.
I think you do too.
Maybe
You should
I'm
do it.
delusional. Maybe
You-
I'm
I at the
delusional.
very least need like a fully functioning bathroom. Like I can't.
Yeah, somewhere to poop, somewhere to poop in
Listen.
peace.
Mm-hmm.
A man's got to do what a man's got to do. I've had some emergency situations that I'm not too proud of. I could go anywhere.
I mean, yeah. Listen,
love that for you.
I've gone camping. I've pooped outside. But I don't know. It's just a long time out there on that beach.
What's the longest you ever held a poop?
Me personally,
Anyone, just in general. Like how
the
long?
longest ever holding a poop.
Mhm.
How did we get here?
I mean, that's hard to say.
I held a poop
I
for an
have no
entire
idea.
week.
What?
1 week. I
Why?
had to refuse because I went to Boy Scout camp and I just could not use that outhouse. I tried so many times. I just could not physically do it. Got home very sick. Yeah, 1 week. I was like, I can't do it.
Mikey's horrified.
It was a
Let me
rough
tell you
go.
what, there's no part of me that could hold in a poop for a week. Nothing. There's no way I could do that.
Crazy.
No shot.
No, I can't do Survivor.
I gotta go when I gotta go. That's the end of it.
Can't do it. Cannot do it.
Well, wait, hold on. Didn't we see a Survivor season recently where someone was like talking about how they hadn't pooped since they got
It was
to the
Liz
island?
last year.
It was last
Oh, it was
season,
Liz.
yeah.
Yeah, that's right. And then she was like, "I finally pooped." Like that was the whole thing on the season.
Yeah, but she wasn't pooping because she wasn't eating.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was eating.
My God. But yeah, so Annika voted out. Sorry to Annika. I liked Annika a lot. I did.
R.I.P.
Yeah.
I don't know that I liked her a lot. I didn't dislike her, but like I was kind of indifferent to her exit. I don't really feel like she did much other than the whole breadwinners thing. Like what?
Well, that's the thing. I felt like I wanted to see the breadwinners do more, and now that's
told
gone.
you, man. They named it too early. They named that alliance way too
Yeah.
early.
Mm.
It was doomed the second she said those words.
Yeah. I guess it does see, and I'm nervous about this because Rachel is on another one of my draft picks. So we were talking earlier about how going into this merge or mergatory phase could be good for people on the outs in their tribes, but like at the same time, like I guess Rachel did benefit from going on that sanctuary trip to for the Survivor Social Hour, right? Because we talked about Rachel, Teeny, and who was it? Rachel, Teeny,
Caroline.
and Caroline, right? But I don't know. I feel like going into the merge, Rachel might have the weakest relationships of some of the people going in now. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, she might, but it could also work in her favor because the God of people are going in there as one group anyway. So there's some potential there to kind of like maybe show some value because maybe you want to work as a group just so that you have numbers.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I guess I'm curious too. Like I want to see like the next conversation between Sierra and Rachel. Like that's something that I really want to see.
It's Rachel,
What
Teeny, and
Sierra says.
Caroline that have the idol, right? That have the amulets.
I think Andy was on that trip.
Andy,
sounds right. I don't.
Andy, Teeny, Cara. I don't forget it.
Let me see.
I don't
I'm
remember.
tired, boy.
We had it was Andy, Caroline, and Teeny. I do have it right here.
No, then never mind. I was gonna say because Rachel that could really work in Rachel's favor, but it couldn't because she doesn't have it. So it really probably won't work in her favor.
So I'm curious too, going into this next phase, because we know that Teeny lost their vote, but then immediately went to tribal, right?
Has
Where
it back? Yes.
so Teeny has it back, but that should mean that Caroline. Oh no, so Andy also went to tribal. So Andy.
Andy didn't lose his vote though. Just Teeny lost their
Oh,
vote.
that's right. It was just Teeny. It was just Teeny. Okay, but
I
Teeny's votes back. So they all have their
could
votes.
be
Andy,
wrong. I think
Caroline, and
everyone
no,
has a vote right
you're
now.
you're right. Yeah, you're right. You're right. For some reason, I was thinking that there were still votes missing, but you're right. It was only Teeny. Teeny's already been to tribal, so
Yeah.
Teeny has their vote back.
Mhm.
Because I was wondering how that might play into the next phase if any of them were still missing votes, but they
Yeah,
do,
that
they do
could-
all have them back.
It could work out for Teeny because that gives Andy every reason to want to bring Teeny into the fold, especially if Teeny is feeling like they're on the outs in their own tribe. Like that could make that into a 4 pretty quickly. I
Yeah.
don't know. I think there's some really interesting stuff that's set up, especially with this Survivor like social hours thing that happened that could really make the merge very, very interesting.
Mhm.
I'm excited to see how it all plays out.
Yeah.
I'm also excited that we're looking at 4 members of Team Marmon in the merge once again. What a glow up from last season, man! It's just
Truly
incredible
the
to see it.
opposite of last
It's
season.
it's incredible to see it, man. We worked all summer. We really got into good shape, this team, and we're just like we're feeling good headed into the merge. It's been good. It's been a good year for us so far. We don't want to celebrate too early, but we're feeling good about it.
No, I'm so excited for when like next week comes up and it's like a double and you lose 2. Just because of all this hype.
Don't you dare! Don't you? Not what hype? I
Yeah.
feel like I'm being. There they are.
You're the peak modesty, Mikey.
There they are. Listen, modesty ain't get nobody anywhere.
I think
That
you
was
people are good
not a
for a little while,
sentence.
though. Honestly,
Yeah.
Listen. I'm feeling great about Sam. I'm feeling less great about everybody else, but they're still there.
It's funny to me that you have both Tiana and Gabe on
And
here.
yeah, I was like going.
Yeah.
That's like when I had Katura and Bruce. Just
Yeah.
I love to pick rivals. You know.
Right. Team Petty has only lost Annika so far. I have not updated these draft slides. So I'm not even going to show me and Gina's because we have whole other people on our teams than when we started. But I still have. So I've still got. I'll pull this up just to show us. I still have Rachel, Sierra, and Caroline, who I took
Yep.
once John went out. TK is out. And then Team Morgino, we've still got. Oh, Asia. That's so sad. Teeny, Genevieve, and Andy.
Mhm. Yep.
But that's where our team stands. So, Mikey, you want to show us some numbers, some fantasy numbers? Who won this week's episode? You.
Well, this week's episode was it was a tough race, but Team Marmon pulled it out in the end, which we're all really happy about. Let me get this going. Team Marmon pulled the win out this week. Team not Team Dumby. Team Petty had a rough week with the loss of Annika. So Team Petty not looking great this week. We're at a 20. Oh, how do we get there? Hello. Is this gonna be backwards? I'm just going to read the numbers out. So Team Marmon ended the week with 45 points. Team Morgino in second place with 33.5 points. Team Dumpy not far behind with 28 points. And Team Petty just loses with 27.5 points. We had Teeny as our top scorer this week with a 13.5, followed by Sam and then Gabe. And then our bottom 3 were Sierra, Rachel, and then Annika with a negative 2.5.
Man.
Tough week for Annika.
Sierra and Rachel need to turn it on for me. They need to turn it on for me here.
Season totals, we've got Team Marmon with 3 wins, Team Petty with 2. Team Marmon's heading at 227 points for the season, followed by Team Petty at 208.5. So even one loss this week, that doesn't put you down too much. Then we got Team Morgino following it up with 170.5 points, and Team Dumpy bringing up the rear with 167.
167, damn.
And now,
all right. That's for Team Dumpy bringing it up the rear.
Oh no!
I told you if you blow it out one more time.
No! Oh
no! No, I'm sorry. I can change. Our season totals for our castaways. We've got Rome winning the season right now with 71.5 points.
That's so crazy.
He's
Oh,
followed closely though by Gabe and Sam, tied for second place with 69 points, which is very nice. And then we got Andy with 59.5 as the next up. So Rome, Gabe, and Sam are really nailing it this season. Then of course our bottom is our all our 5 eliminated castaways are bringing up the rear right now. John has scored 0 points. But Annika's got 37.5 points to end her career with Survivor, which is not
career.
too bad compared to some other people, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. So we're looking good. We're looking good for Team Marmon this year. Let's see let's see where we go in the merge. You know,
Yeah, we'll see how you feel when Caroline wins this whole thing.
who's Caroline?
That's not going to happen.
Oh, she's winning. She's winning the whole
I mean,
thing.
anything is possible, but
I'm calling it right now.
Bold of you to say the person who's winning is the person that you got after you lost.
Yeah, it
enough,
was my
and not
fifth,
two of
my
the people that you
fifth
still
draft
have. that you
pick. Not even,
chose.
not even on my original team. Here it is, 9:01 p.m., October 21st, 2024. Caroline will win Survivor 47.
So when she
Okay.
doesn't win, do you want us to also bring this up?
I do. I want you to bring it up, and
I will
want you to
clip it
shame.
on finale night. Yes.
I want you to shame me, just unmercilessly.
This is a fun game, though.
Yeah,
Do we
just
have
roast me, roast me.
what are our predictions heading into merge? Who's the pick? Who are
Caroline.
we thinking? You think it's Caroline? Gina, what do you
Sweet
got?
Caroline.
I think Sam and Andy are kind of the two that I'm watching right now.
Andy.
I think Andy could have a pretty wild.
I just like, I can't believe he's still there. I'm so annoyed
I
that
don't
he's there.
know.
John
I mean,
isn't.
like, Sam, I think Sierra should be somebody that we're looking at. I don't think we should stop talking about Genevieve.
I mean, my favorite person on the season right now is Teeny, but they got an uphill battle. So
Yeah, I'm leaning Sam right now. I really am. I'd like to see Tiana pull through and do something good in the second half of the game. But based on what we've seen in the beginning, I feel like Sam and Andy are best positioned. But I'd go Sam over Andy.
Boo, Caroline. It's gonna be Caroline. Boo, you guys.
Hey,
It's probably not
you
gonna be
know.
Caroline.
Now, listen, you've made your prediction for Caroline, and even if you say where it's probably not, you've already locked in your
I
answer.
know, I'm locked in.
I literally wrote down, if Caroline is snuffed, clip this moment.
Clip it anyway for when she doesn't win.
two nights from now. But all right, I think so. Yeah, we're going into, I'm assuming, Mergatory next week. We got, well, so we've lost 6 people, right? So we got 12 left.
Uh-huh.
Five,
You're saying
Wait.
5
We've lost
episodes,
5.
5 people.
Yeah.
You're right, because we lost 3 from each tribe first, and then Lava lost another one, and now Gato. You're right. So 5. So we're down to 13 castaways, right?
Also, I know we've said this before, but it's so nice to see this first part of the game not be a blowout for one tribe and like
for real.
really be anyone's game for the challenges. Like it doesn't feel like any one tribe is better at challenges than the others. It's just a matter of the day, which is really, really nice to see.
Yeah. No, you're right. And it's funny because during this episode, there was a big part of me that was like hoping that Lava would lose because I just want to see Rome go. But at the same time, I am kind of happy with the outcome because of the fact that, like you said, like it keeps things more even. Like it's
Yes,
because we're potentially going into the next phase of the game with a 5-4-4 split, right? Instead of what would have been, Lava would have been down to 3 if they went to tribal.
I think there has been a
that.
3 every season of the new era. I think for the past 6 seasons we have had a 3 tribe go into merge, and this is the first time that I think we are 5-4-4. I could be wrong on that. Don't quote me, but I'm pretty sure, which is really, really nice because I think it opens things up in a way that they haven't been opened.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I'm very excited to see how it goes.
Yeah. All right. Awesome. I think that's all I got. Anybody have any other thoughts on episode 5? All right. Well, in that case, what we have coming up, we'll be back this Thursday talking the Challenge 40. And I guess we got to talk offline about the next Survivor 47 stream. So we'll figure out exactly when that will be. So, but that definitely this Thursday, Challenge 40, and a TBD on the next Survivor 47 stream. You can find us on the socials at Strat Chat Pod. Find us everywhere on the socials except for Blue Sky.
Guy, sorry.
And that's
Fucking
it.
Blue Sky.
Yeah. Thank you for hanging out tonight, everybody. We will see you soon.